Hey guys, this is Jonathan from TacomaExplorer.com, and today we're going to be talking about how to properly torque the lug nuts on your Tacoma's wheels. So first off, what is lug nut torque? So these are the lug nuts on your wheels. Obviously, that's what you use to attach the wheel to the vehicle. And the torque is a measurement of how tight you're making the lug nuts. And that's important for a few reasons. So before I explain why lug nut torque is important, let's just talk about what the lug nut torque should be on your Tacoma. So if you have a 2004 or newer Tacoma, it's going to be 83 foot-pounds of torque or 113 Newton meters of torque. Or also can be expressed as 11.5 kilogram force meters. Now for Tacomas that are 2003 and older, it's also 83 foot-pounds of torque and 11.5 kilogram force meters. But for some reason, I don't know if it was a calculation error or some sort of difference in how they calculated it, they said in the owner's manual 110 Newton meters. So if you're measuring in foot-pounds, which if you're in the US, you probably are, it is 83 across the board for all Tacomas. The only difference is that for 2003 and older, they measured the Newton meters as 110 instead of 113. So I'm not really sure why they did that. If you think you know why, we'd love to hear your comment down below. So in a minute, I'll show you how to properly torque the lug nuts on here, but let's talk first about why it's important to torque these properly. So if they're under torqued, these lug nuts can come loose over time with vibrations of the vehicle, hitting bumps and stuff like that. And you don't want to lose too many of these because your wheel will fall off. And then if it's over torqued, you can strip the threads that these are attached to. You can also warp your brake rotors, and you can cause the wheel studs to break off. One of my friends actually just bought a new car one time, and she brought it over to show it to me, and I noticed that the wheel studs were broken off already, and that's because the dealership that she bought it from over-torqued them and caused them to fall off, and that's not a fun repair to have to make, especially right when you get a new car. So now to torque the lug nuts, you'll need a torque wrench, just like this one I have here, and you'll need an appropriately sized socket on the end of that. And what you'll do is set the torque on the wrench here. So as you can see, we have measurements for foot-pounds on here. I actually didn't realize, but this goes up to 80, which is a little bit short of 83. So make sure your torque wrench actually goes up to the foot-pounds that you need it to. This is just a demonstration, so it doesn't matter too much. So on most torque wrenches, you'll just spin this to your desired measurement. So just spin it until it lines up with the torque that you're looking for. And once you do that, you'll be ready to go. So using the official recommendations from Toyota about how to tighten the lug nuts on a Tacoma, you'll want to get a jack and lift this wheel up off the ground a little bit. Then you'll tighten the lugs in a star-shaped pattern. So that would be, for example, starting with this one, tighten that. Then you would tighten this one. Then you would tighten that. And you would just alternate in that star-shaped pattern, and that ensures that everything is tightened properly all the way around. So when you're tightening, you'll be listening for a click, and that tells you that your lug nuts are tightened up to the correct spec. So let's just hear what that sounds like. As you can hear, there was a click, and then I released, and you heard another click. So I would do that, and I would keep going around until it doesn't get any tighter, and I just hear those clicks. Now, after you do this, I like to put the truck back on the ground and just check all of them once again in that star-shaped pattern, just to make sure that everything's still nice and tight after we put it back on the ground. Last thing to keep in mind is that dirt or rust can get in the way sometimes when tightening and create a false torque. So it's a good idea to make sure that the studs are clean before you start doing this, and it's a good idea to recheck your torque after you do some driving just to make sure they didn't loosen up. So that's all there is to it. Just make sure you have a torque wrench, and this is a really good thing for you to do every time you're tightening your wheels. I think most people that just sort of do it based on feel, and as I said, if you over or under torque your lug nuts, there could be some severe issues that happen. So it's good to do it properly. If you have any questions about this, feel free to let us know. We have an article with more information and updated information. And if you have any other questions, just feel free to leave a comment. And I'll see you in the next video.